there are kind of a few common myths about why the mobile web is so huge in Japan. And I can't completely disprove them, but I would like to basically put things in perspective a little bit. And the first one is that the Japanese have very small homes and no PCs at home. Well, small homes, especially in Tokyo, that's probably true, as you can see here. And but the thing about not having PCs at home I wouldn't be so sure about, because basically internet penetration at home is really high in Japan. It's really fast. I think around a quarter of internet households in Japan have fiber to the home, which is somewhere between 50 and 100 megabits per second, which is not bad. And it's also not that expensive either. Maybe it costs you around $25. And when iMode launched in 2001 was around the same time when Yahoo first started pushing DSL broadband to the home. So that couldn't have been the reason, really. The second pretty common myth is that the mobile internet in Japan is so huge simply because the Japanese are crazy about gadgets. Well, we'd be the first to admit that Japan is probably one of the more technology-loving countries on the planet, as you can see, for example, here or here. That was one of the famous fully automatic Japanese toilet seats that you can not use to make phone calls, but pretty much anything else for. And but having said that, the Japanese are certainly not the only people on the planet that are crazily in love with gadgets. The iPod sells just as well in Japan as it does anywhere else. The Nintendo Wii sells just as well in Europe as it does in Japan. People use computers and all kinds of stuff, so that couldn't really be the whole explanation of the story. Another common myth is that, yeah, the Japanese spend so much time commuting. Well, especially in Tokyo, people do spend a lot of time on trains. The Japan Statistics Bureau found that the average Japanese, whether it's a baby or a grandfather, spends around half an hour on the train commuting to and from work per day, which combined with alcohol can sometimes have really, really drastic consequences. But a study from Mr. Philip Sugai at the International University of Japan found that 90% of mobile internet usage occurs outside of commuting time. So that couldn't really be it either, could it? So while all these factors probably acted as catalysts for mobile internet take-up, they don't certainly explain the full story. And you might wonder, well, why is it then? Well, actually, it's a combination of very many factors. But this statement from Takeshi Natsuno, who's basically the guy who invented iMode for Docomo, once said, well, it's about knowing what people want and how to sell it to them the right way. And that's a pretty simple statement, but there's actually a much bigger story behind that, which we'll explain.